Hi, this is Katie Sieben here to give you another roundup of some of the things that are happening at the Capitol this week. First, I should mention today I met with a group of about 10 to 15 motorcyclists mainly from Cottage Grove, but also I think from Hastings, who were here to talk for Motorcycle Abate Day on the Hill. And they had a variety of issues that we discussed, and hopefully some of their top priorities will move forward early this legislative session. I also met with a special education teacher from the district yesterday, and am looking forward to talking with the superintendent of South Washington County Schools here after I wrap this up. The big news, however, this week at the Capitol is really that Governor Dayton released his budget proposal. It's a really broad, sweeping transformation of how of the vision he has for Minnesota. It proposes pretty substantial changes to parts of our state's tax structure. For instance, it will greatly reduce property taxes. On average, in Minnesota, if his proposal becomes law, homeowners would see a reduction of around 10% in their property tax bills. And then it increases the state's reliance on income tax to raise revenue. It proposes to raise income tax rates on top 2% of Minnesotans so that they pay a more proportional share to what middle class taxpayers pay as a percent of their income. And then it lowers the state sales tax from 6.875% down to 5.5%. It does that by broadening the base, so more services would be included in that proposal. For instance, when you get your car repaired, you now pay sales tax. But instead of paying 6.875, you'd pay 5.5%. It also includes a sales tax on clothing for those items that cost more than $100. So that is something would be a very new thing for Minnesotans here. I understand though that only 4 states in the country now don't charge sales tax on clothing, and I personally like the idea of starting that tax on clothing purchases at $100 so that it doesn't impact middle class families quite as much as people who can afford to spend more than $100 on a sweater or jacket or whatever it is. So I certainly would welcome your input onto Governor Dayton's budget proposal. That's the taxing side. I should also mention that on the what that money would be used for is there's really substantial investments in education for early childhood scholarships, for an expansion of all-day kindergarten, which I think is very important, and more money for the University of Minnesota and the MNSCU system to try to keep college tuition prices more affordable. So as I said, I really would welcome your input. To that end, you certainly can always email me, or I have a series of town hall meetings coming up, the first one of which is Thursday evening at Cottage Grove Public Safety Building, the new City Hall Public Safety Building. The next one is the following Thursday, I believe, with Representative McNamara at Hastings City Hall at 7 p.m. And then there's also one coming up in South St. Paul, and we'll get you those details. So that's a quick wrap of what's been happening at the Capitol this week, and as always, I appreciate your input.